Welcome back to the Executive Outlook. Today's guest is someone who has spent 30 years in the world of data and has taken that expertise to every corner of the globe. From Australia to Brazil, Japan to South Africa, she has given keynotes, led workshops, and helped organizations tackle some of the hardest data challenges out there. Sue is a director of data governance and master data management at Elsevier, one of the largest leading information and analytics companies. With 3 decades of experience across almost every industry, Sue's sweet spot is data governance, quality, metadata, and master data management. That actually makes data trustworthy and useful. So welcome to the Executive Outlook. Really glad to have you here with us today.
Isha, thank you very much. And I thank you very much for the invitation to join you guys. It's an absolute honor and a real privilege. And I'm really looking forward to having this discussion. So thank you.
So you have been into the data management from over 30 years and worked all over the world, right? So how do you start? It all started for you, and how does someone even end up with a career in data governance?
I think, first of all, as a child, nobody ever in the world has put their hand up and said, I want to be in data when I grow up. You know, typically we want to be firemen, pilots, or models, or actors. This isn't a career that we work towards. It's something that we fall into. And for me, the way I fell into it was actually I started a brand new job in a small organization with only 10 people, and it was a building warranty organization. And I walked in as the personal assistant to the managing director. And first day I was there, he came to me and he said to me, here is a list of builders. You need to actually manage them. So opened up this document, looked at the list, went back to him and said to him, this needs a database to manage. I know that Microsoft has Access, and I know Access is a database. And I went out with a credit card and bought Microsoft Office. The fun part of that was that for the next couple of weeks, every time a new builder's paperwork came in, I typed everything in the bottom row of that table. I started to look at other stuff and gosh, people can't spell very well, you know, looking at things like that. And why is this the same? And I thought to myself one day, why can't we have something that allows you to select a name rather than type it? And by the end of that year, I had actually got a team of 5 developers building out an Access database system. By the next year, it had become a SQL Server, and I moved from being the PA for the managing director to actually running this whole thing. Just fell in love with data, and that's it. That's where I started. Crazy story, but that's really what happened.
Very interesting. So you have, traveled across the world. So what challenges you have seen in data that is same across, no matter where you go, which part of the country it is? What are certain challenges that are same across the world?
There's one big challenge, and it's one word: people. It's getting people to understand that the data is the most important thing. And if it's not right, chaos ensues. Data itself, it's dead. It's people. It's not the data. It's the people who use the data, who consume it, who create it, that are the ones that need to be brought along this journey with you. It doesn't matter which vertical industry you're in. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. People are the biggest challenge.
So it's about mindset of people, that we need to have the quality data. We need to care about data. So that is the biggest challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to put in simple terms, what is data governance and why it is beneficial for the companies?
So what data governance is, the underlying enabler to ensure data is trusted so that business decisions can be made without hesitation and with confidence that decision is being made with everything underlying being the best it can be. And it's not the definition that people talk about, oh, policies, procedures, and stuff. That's a part of it. But data governance is that enabler for trusted decision making. And that's it.
Do you think dashboards work here, policies work here when you put it?
You know, we can write a policy about
Mhm.
data governance. We can write principles. We can write procedures. We can create beautiful dashboards. But if we can't get people to buy in to the structure of looking after their data while it is under their control, none of this matters. I mean, I've been in an organization where there was a policy about having your desktop clean. So when you walked away from your desktop, you had to lock your computer, but you also had to make sure that papers weren't lying around. And it was a really important financial services organization that there was a real clear reason for that policy. And I was in a couple of days workshop with them, and one of the people raised to another person in the room that they had actually been in trouble for not following a policy. And the lady's answer back to him was, I was too busy to read it. And when I did manage to read it, I didn't care. That is it. Reading a policy does not make you want to comply to it. So writing a policy is no good if there is no action out of it. And I think one of the best things I've ever seen was a company that created an amazing infographic that took their policies from language to action. And that policy infographic, one page, was better than reading through all of the content. So this is the challenge. We can do all of those things that we have to do, but the have to do doesn't help unless we're making it active, unless we're making it real.
That's very, very good perspective. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, what is a common data problem you have seen across industries? So, if we want to specify, it is the data quality problem, and why it is so hard to fix that even everyone knows it exists but cannot fix it.
So I think one of the common problems that I've seen, it goes back to reference data. So all of those drop down lists that you see all over the place in any application that you've got. And it's such a simple challenge, and you'd think you're absolutely right. It should be easy to fix. So here is this drop down list, and there is a list of 2 things or 3 things. That is easy. People will drop it down and go, okay, there's 3 things I can see. I'll pick one, okay? But the minute that drop-down list gets below those 3, 4 things, and you've got a long list, 20, 30, hundreds of them sometimes, people pick the first one because it's easy. So here's this form I'm filling in. Drop down, oh, crikey Moses, do I really have to go down to the bottom? I'll just pick the first one, and then I'll go on to the next, and I'll pick the first one, okay? So a great example is and this is a bit of an urban legend. It was a hospital who suddenly had this massive upswing of broken legs. And they started to panic, going, gosh, our orthopedic department isn't big enough. But when they started to look at the orthopedic department, they were going, no, but we've only had 4 this month. In actual fact, what had happened is that somebody had said, we need broken legs in this list of why are you being triaged here? Something around that. And the developers just put broken leg at the top of that list. Okay. And because the list was so long, people were selecting broken legs. So in actual fact, the data was incorrect. There wasn't that many broken legs. The orthopedic department didn't need to be raised. What needed to be raised was the people cannot just select the first one in a list. And that is typically a massive data quality problem. The challenge in fixing it is a couple of things. First of all, it's to look at these drop-down lists and go, do we really need this many items in it? And if we do, how can we subset it so that it's easier? The second thing is to get people to stop being so rushed and take the time to go, hang on a second, this data here is core to the next person downstream. And that's the challenge. That's one of the most challenges that we face. And it's so hard to fix because it's going back to people thinking.
Absolutely. So that's a very, very good example that it starts from the right there, from step one. Just because people are want to save some time, actually the business suffers and takes the wrong decisions at the end. So
Yeah.
okay, all right. So next, I want to ask about your expertise in the master data management. If you want to put master data management in simple terms, what are your thoughts? Because it sounds too much technical, but it has a real business impact. So that's why first let's start with the very simple terms. What is master data management?
So master data management is the underlying application that will support businesses to get one trusted source of the best data they can, that can be used across the whole organization for whatever purpose is required. And I know that's a little bit more structured than my one about data governance, which was a lot more fun. But that really is the raw basics of that. So it's that underlying structure that helps support us to get that customer record that is correct and accurate and trusted, or the product record, or the supplier record, or the million types of MDMs that you can have.
And what is one challenge that organization face where MDM goes wrong and how to get it right?
The biggest challenge is that they don't identify upfront why MDM. So what I've seen time and time again is people go, oh, MDM, let's do it. Let's buy the thing and get it in. Okay, why? My question is always why? What do you mean? It's a new thing. Let's get it in. No, that's not why. That's you having a new tool or a new toy. It doesn't tell me why. What do you want to get out of it? And if they don't answer me, I'll keep going why. You know that 5 whys. I'm quite happy to do 20 whys. But it's why. Where is the value? What is the outcome? MDM fails always because that why wasn't clear. And if you don't know why you're doing it, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's not good enough because you didn't clarify and create what it is that you as an organization want out of this. So that's the most important. Underlying technology, bad decisions, all the rest of it, it all comes down to the fact that we did not answer, why do you want this?
So, do you want to share certain examples as per your experience of different businesses, why they needed it?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, I will say that most businesses have no clue in the beginning. It takes somebody to stop and say, hang on, why are we doing this? It's almost the new shiny, and it becomes, it's this buzzword thing. So you hear a buzzword. And I mean, we've got hundreds of buzzwords right now. Data mesh, data fabric, AI is not really, it's when AI has become more than a buzzword. Okay. But it's these buzzwords and people in the business hear them and they go, oh, let's do that. So it's that sort of, okay, master data management is a really good idea, but why do you want it? And it is often, but it's just a tool. It's a new tool. Let's do it. And so that's a big thing. But some of the better answers are, well, we're having trouble with our decision making at the executive level because we get a report, we have to give this piece of data to some other organization. And the person that does to give this piece of data gets 3 different reports a month with 3 different bottom lines. And he's like, okay, which one is correct? Throws that back at the people that have given the reports, and they're running around trying to go, okay, well, that one is right. No, that one is right. No, what does it mean? No, they all mean the same thing. And this is a true life story. Okay. And eventually in frustration, what does the person do? Okay. They take the 3 reports, they take the 3 bottom lines, they add them all together, and then they divide by 3. And then they send that information to the other organization that they need to. Sounds like it's like, no, come on, that can't happen. I promise you, I was there when it happened. The difference is if that had happened to a small organization, it wouldn't have been a problem. The fact of the matter is it happened in an organization who were responsible for giving economic metrics to the government of that country. Now the challenge is very different. And that is a valid reason for having something like master data management. Okay. I will tell you, it truly happened. And yes, they ended up with an enterprise data management strategy that was signed off by the board level, never mind just the executives in the organization. And that challenge was mitigated by master data management. Okay. The other example is to ensure that your list of customers, your list of products, your list of suppliers is something that you can actually calculate and ensure that is correct, and that you are supplying the right customer, the right product through the right mechanism at the right time. And a great example of that is a mobile telco that I actually had a mobile phone and a mobile contract with. Because of the disparity of their systems, on my birthday, I used to get 7 birthday messages. And again, real life example, happy birthday 7 times. I actually worked at that telco for a while, and I brought that challenge to them. And the idea was the account holder and the subscriber on the mobile phone, the mobile tablet, whatever, was the same person. And therefore, should we be saying happy birthday 7 times? Another great example, and a real life example. I'm trying to think of many others. Again, you can see what it's all about is having that as good as you can record of an item, a customer item, a person item, an organization item, whatever it is that you're trying to build out, with the necessary underlying rules and capabilities to make sure that you have got the best record. And so that was 2 examples, but 2 ones that I've actually dealt with in my work life.
But this is something that is seriously a problem at the end user side for all the businesses. It loses the trust as
Yes.
we are proceeding
Yeah.
towards that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I share this with people, and it's based on conversations that I've had with many stakeholders over the years. But think of your current world. Monday morning, you come into the office, on your desk are some reports on your laptop, and you look at them and your heart hits your knees. And the first thing you're saying is, oh, I need to get these reports to my boss by the end of the day, but this is wrong. Something isn't right on these reports. So you run around, you start to get the data, you start to go, oh my God, let's get this right. Okay. Oh, how do I go? Who do I talk to? You're running around until the end of the day when you're sitting there, you're going, I still don't trust it, but I've got to get it to my boss. Okay. That's the fact of life. You send it out to your boss. He comes in the next morning. He gets it. He looks at it and he comes back to you and he says, this is wrong. I don't trust this. Okay. So what you've done all day is you've chased your tail to try and get the right information for your boss. Now flip that scenario. In a world where we trust our data, you come in on the Monday morning, you get the reports, you look at them and you go, yeah, perfect. And they're off to your boss in half an hour. He checks them. He comes back to you. Great. I'm sending them on. That's the world we want. The world we have is the panic world, because we don't trust the data, because it's not being governed appropriately and the quality is missing.
All right. So these are very, very interesting scenarios which you have shared. My next question to you is, what has been the toughest situation you have ever walked into and how you have gone through it?
Wow. I probably have about a top 50. Let me try and work out one that's really, I think probably the toughest in general, without a specific, is when I'm facing stakeholders, and often really important stakeholders at the top of the organization, that are so resistant to changing the mindset towards improving the data so that they can have the improvements and the trust that they need. That is where it is really tough, because typically as data people, okay, I'm not like this anymore, I've learned to change, but as data people, we rush in with a bunch of Excels under our arms and we say, hey, here's a challenge. Look at this. We throw this down on the table or on the screen and we say, look at this data here. And we're pointing to a data element in a table and a column. Okay. And we're making it very geeky. We're making it very technical. And the person we're trying to talk to is turned off, because what we're not doing is we're not putting ourselves in their shoes. And over the years, I have learned that I have to put myself in the shoes of the person I'm talking to. When I don't do that, I fail. And that person, those stakeholders, do not trust another conversation with me. They'll run away. They'll refuse my invites. They'll refuse my desire to talk to them. And that's kind of where it is. That is the hardest, most challenging thing I've ever faced, is changing my way of working to stop being a data geek in public. Alone, I love playing with data. If somebody would let me play with a day full of data these days, I'd love it. I'd really be excited, because I never get to play with data anymore. I'm working at much too high a level to be able to get my hands dirty. But it's taught me to change the way I deal with it. Get in their shoes, get in their heads, make sure that my message to them is, how can I help them? What can I do to help them? What do they want from me? Not what do I want from them. What I want from them is always the same. I want them to love their data. Okay. That's my default. Please love your data. Please make sure you look after it. It's not about that. It's what they need from me. And by doing that, I've learned over the years that I'm able to connect with people better, because I'm walking in their shoes. And sometimes walking in their shoes is actually being in their office with them, following what they do. One of my favorite things I did, but the hardest thing I did, is I went and I became a call center agent for a week. I never want to be a call center agent because it's a horrible job, but I learned so much by sitting there with the call center agents and working with them, and even taking some calls and everything about the challenges they faced and why the data that we were getting out of them was so problematic.
And that will give you the actual challenges they are facing, and we can think and we can solve that. So basically,
Yeah.
this is very important. This is one of the biggest challenges also people face, that they don't know how to communicate to business in business terms. They are
Yeah.
always technical. So this is very important that we talk in the other person's perspective. As you rightly mentioned, we have to be in their shoes
Yeah.
first, about them, about their roles, about their responsibilities, how they want the results, and then present in that perspective, in that way.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
telling the story. Yeah. And it's telling the story without using words like governance and data and regulation and this and that and the next thing. It's learning to just tell a story that gets people, I'm ready to hear now. I'm listening. Because if you can't get people to listen, you've lost the battle.
and ultimately, we have just given these terminologies, right? But what is governance? To make sure everything is going as expected. About the, like, we have a government in place which is running the company, which is running the country. Similarly, we have governance in place which is looking after how the data is flowing. Very simple terms. So
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
just making
And it
things
is being
complicated.
simple.
Yeah, it is simple, but we as a human are making things complicated. It should not be that much complicated. But you rightly mentioned, if we're gonna say it through a story, that will gonna impact a lot of people,
Yeah.
and they will be able to understand it better.
Yeah. No, and it is. It's tell a story, but understand what the person you're talking to wants to hear. So if you can have a little bit of what their pain may be, you can turn the story into something that they go, wow, I can empathize with that. Tell me more.
Hmm.
It's always, it's put yourself in their shoes, understand what their problems are, and build that story so that story that you're going to tell helps them to be interested enough to want to hear more from you. Down the line, you can talk about the data that's behind that, but get them hooked first. Get them interested and involved and wanting to take part first. When we do data governance, the biggest failure we make is forgetting that it's people that we're dealing with, not the data. The data is there. People are the ones we need to encourage. We have to get them involved.
That's right. So that they can actually make the plan executed like the way we want it according to the policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this is what I wanted to ask you today. It was such an amazing conversation, and thank you so much for sharing your journey, your experiences, your wisdom. It's really a pleasure to have you on the executive.
Isha, it has been my pleasure to be with you, and I've loved every minute of it. It is very much appreciated, and I am looking forward to the next one.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. I look forward to it. And again, thank you very much for asking me. It has been such an honor. Thank you. And have a great day wherever you are.